Retake. Hi, welcome to Magical Cooking with Dawn. Today we will be making magical pot roast for protection. So all our ingredients will be specifically for protection except for our meat. The meat does not have no magical properties to it, except for helping you ground. Meat really does help you ground. So if you need to ground, this is a great recipe for you for afterwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a 3 to 5 pound beef chuck roast that has been trimmed, which I have already done. Came apart in a couple pieces, but it still cooks the same. A crock pot is what we will be cooking it in today. So it's easy, put it on, leave it alone, come back when you're ready for it, and you're good to go. So we're going to start off with putting the pot roast into their crock pot. And I will link or put a recipe in the description below as well. And then we're going to add, oops, if I don't spill it, 1 container of pesto to the crock pot on top of the pot roast. Don't worry about it looking all nice. It's all gonna get mixed up while it's cooking. And then you can make it look all pretty afterwards. I like to make sure and get almost everything I can out of what I'm using. Okay, now we have the pesto added to the crock pot. To that, we're going to add a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper, then we're going to add 3 cans of tomato sauce. If you like it chunky, you can use 1 can of tomato sauce and 2 cans of whole tomato, chopped tomato or diced tomato. I personally do not like the whole tomato or tomatoes cooked, so I opt for the sauce instead of the diced tomatoes. And while you're doing this, you want to imagine like a protective shield going into this as you're putting each ingredient into the crock pot. Because we want to manifest protection with this food. Now we have the entire crock pot filled with our ingredients. So now we gotta plug in the crock pot. When you put this lid on top of the crock pot, imagine like a bubble surrounding the crock pot, protecting it, adding its own protection to the meal as it's cooking. You may even want to draw a pentagram over the crock pot. And we're going to turn it on low. And let it cook for about 8 to 10 hours. When that's done, so now that we have had our pot roast cooking for the 8 to 10 hours, we need to take it out of the crock pot and slice it into squares before we thicken up the sauce that we made. When cutting meat, you always want to keep your fingers away from the sharp part of the knife, or it's gonna hurt. My meat is dang and just falling apart, as you can see. Gotta grab my big piece to cut up. I'm gonna throw these back over into my little pan I got going on over here just to hold the meat. Excuse me. Oop, I cut my own thing. Tonight, I'm serving this dish with spaghetti noodles, but you can always serve it with rice or quinoa or couscous or whatever else you would want to serve this meat with and this sauce with. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try some couscous with it one day. And if you've never made couscous before, it's really, really easy. It's even easier than making noodles, in my own opinion. I'm pretty rustic about my cuts, unless I'm trying to make something that needs to be sauteed, and then that's the only time I really worry about uniform cuts at home. Let me just get the steaming meat out of the way. Place it in my little pan over here that I have. I will turn it and show you. I'm just using regular pan to try to help hold it. See? That's all I'm doing is a regular pan. Okay. Now, we need to take 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to wash my hands off before I do this because I had stuff from the meat on it. And 2 tablespoons of water. See, there's the cornstarch, and I'm going to add the water. And you want to mix it up and make like a slurry out of it because this is what's going to thicken up your sauce in your crock pot. It's going to make it stick to your noodles, stick to your meat, make it a lot thicker. Okay, let's see if I can move this camera without causing a huge mess. Yeah, let's try that. I'll see how I do with that one. Alright, I gotta move y'all up. Okay. Now, I've got the big old crock pot going on. Well, not a big crock pot. I only have a little crock pot, but it works. Be careful and not get a facial when you remove the lid off of the liquid. I'm gonna give y'all a peek of it. That's what it looks like before you thicken it. Now, I want to make sure all the cornstarch is dissolved before I add it to my sauce. Okay. I have my whisk. I prefer a whisk. You can use a spoon. If you don't have a whisk, it ain't no big deal. Use a spoon. I just prefer my whisk. We're going to slowly drizzle it in and incorporate it in the sauce. I don't like to just dump it all in at one time. This is not going to change the color of your sauce or nothing. It's just going to thicken it up. It's not like flour. Ooh, that looks good. All the protection in it, and it smells absolutely terrific, y'all. I mean, just absolutely terrific. Now, I'm gonna get my handy dandy tongs and put my meat back in there because my meat's hot and I don't want to get burned. Don't go just dropping your meat into your crock pot. You're gonna splash sauce up on you and it's gonna burn. And that ain't fun, trust me. I have done it. We're throwing all the meat back into the pot so it gets nice and coated with the nice tomato gravy that we made here. It's gonna be really yummy. Yeah. You probably are hearing my NCIS in the background as well. Because when I cook, I like to have some sort of noise, either music or something. I figured NCIS is really good for this recipe to be watching because it's all about protecting people. See where my logic goes? And plus it's Samhain today. I'm going to try to get this video uploaded today before the end of the month. So, happy Samhain, everyone! And you put the lid back on while you're boiling your noodles and getting your noodles ready, which my water's ready for my spaghetti. Don't ever forget to season your water. You always salt your water. Always. If you don't, you'll have really bland noodles. But you don't want to add any oil to your noodle water. It just make it bad. It don't do. Everybody should do that. Put a little oil in your water. Especially if you're from the South like I am. Come find out that really don't help matters. You just want a lot of salt in your water. So now, I gotta let this boil, and then I will plate it up and show y'all after I get it done.